After what we've seen last time out at Hillside Speedway for the 1UP Superstar Series, I think it's safe to say that this season is going to be fully unpredictable from Daytona to Homestead. We've already seen that over the course of the first 5 races. What will race 6 have in store for us today? At Thunder Valley, Bristol Motor Speedway, for 150 laps, these superstar drivers will take on one of their longest races of the season to see who can score big at the last great Coliseum. And alongside me in the booth to bring you all the action for today's race is Jesse Turner, back with us once again. Great to have you with us because Bristol is one of the hot tickets on the schedule because of all the attrition, all the chaos, all of the close quarters racing. There really isn't anything else like it.
For sure, man. I'm glad to be up in the booth with you for this one, especially here with as popular as a venue it is. I mean, the fans here from East Tennessee, West North Carolina, Virginia, they all flock to this place because they know it's just so good all around that they're always treated in for a real good show, and definitely some crashes and fender benders and even some tempers as well. So, like, I'm sure today will be no different. I'm sure they'll be in for a fun one.
It's always been a fun one. Every time 1UP rocks up here, we've seen a lot of dominating performances in years past here. Who will have that such a run today, and will anyone be able to stop them from achieving a clean sweep over the course of 150 laps? But with that being said, we can now bring you the starting lineup for today's 150 laps of action, and for the second time this season, it is Jeffrey Finguy on pole position. This time around, he's got Lane Sanders alongside him. These two have had some sparks fly in the past between them. I'm curious to see if we'll get another rendition of that over the course of the race today. Miles Mashburn, he had a strong performance in the Turbo Truck Series race a couple nights ago. He lines up 3rd. Ryan Caggiano with a best start of the season in 4th. He has had a very good season up to this point. Can that continue today? And Henry Thomas, looking to end an over 6-year winless drought in the Superstar Series, rounds out the top 5. But there's some other stories to keep our eye on as well. Justin Henley with Vice Valley Motorsports' best start of the season in 7th. Brian Grigsby, another Fitzwater Australia car, lining up in 9th. He's trying to bounce into the top 30 for the first time this season. And Devin Fair, who's got top 10s in every race this season, he lines up 6th, in great position to extend that streak here today.
That's right. They're all going to be real strong today. But down in the 15th position, there's the 66 car. It's not Paul Villalobos, who won at Hillside in spectacular fashion. It'll be Riley Hooper taking over that car for the first time this season. So at least we won't have a back-to-back repeat winner, but we'll see how Riley Hooper can do in that machine. But, of course, he'll have 14 of the guys ahead of him to try and beat.
And of course, Riley Hooper had a very strong performance in the Nitro National race yesterday. This is his first appearance in a Superstar car ever. Curious to see what that car will be able to do from 15th on the grid. But with that being said, we've got 42 drivers all ready to chase after Racing Glory, and we are ready to bring you that action now from Bristol. It's the 1UP Superstar Series at the last great Coliseum, and the green flag set to get this great race underway in just a short moment. Stay tuned for that. Field rolling through turn 4. It is Finguy and Sanders on row 1 with the green flag now out and in the air. We're racing at Thunder Valley, and Finguy gets a good launch off the line. He will lead the charge into turn 1, and he might be bringing Miles Mashburn with him. But let's see what this 87 can do from the outside line. It's a little rough at the start of the race, but once you get some rubber into the racetrack, that outside line could be a good defending lane, as Lane Sanders has already demonstrated, as we're already 3 wide further back in the field.
Wow, Brian Grigsby, Zayden Davidson, they sandwich looks like the 22 of Patrick Smith 3 wide, but thankfully they got that sorted out. With Finguy, Sanders, Mashburn, Caggiano, and Devin Fair, the top 5. So now everybody's getting single file, trying to find the rhythm, but obviously the guys from 10th or 12th place on deck, they got a lot of figuring out to do. This is a tight place.
As case in point, we're already 4 laps into this race, with Finguy having led them all so far. Caggiano settles into 4th ahead of Devin Fair, who got the jump on Henry Thomas. Fair started 6th. He's already up into the 5th position. And I'm curious to see what this 5 car can do. He was really good. The whole Fitzwater team was so good at preseason testing on the short tracks. I'm curious to see if this 5 car can get up into a podium position or maybe even threaten to win this race.
Yeah, that's good for Caggiano. He's had plenty of strong runs. The 21 of Devin Fair, he's gotten every race this season, the top 10 in a row. So he's already well positioned to do that streak. But now we got Justin Henley, who we're focusing on, the 43, right in between Henry Thomas and Brian Grigsby. But so far, just keeping cool, just trying to follow the 16 of Thomas as best he can. But he also got the 9 of Grigsby. He's also looking to attack.
And Justin Henley, this is a phenomenal outing for Vice Valley Motorsports. Like I said, their best qualifying effort of the season, and this 43 car is enjoying its strongest performance of the season, with Henley running his second race of the season. He'll be in that car for the remainder of 2026. As up at the front, the gap between Finguy and Sanders seems to be coming down a little bit. Finguy had a lead of about a quarter of a second. It's down by half a tenth on that lap. I'm very curious to see if this 87 car is willing to take some risks to try and get an early lead.
As you see, just come across the line for lap number 10. I'm noticing everybody's migrating to the bottom of the track. No one's really giving that top group a chance. It usually takes a little bit into the race for that top line to kick in, but there's just not really enough grip in the track for these guys to do that right now. You see they just hug the bottom, and right now you got Jake McMillan and Christian Vargas in for about a 15th, 16th place. That's the one first side-by-side battle, but McMillan's trying to do his best on the top side, but so far it's not working.
Yeah, now he's got Ben McDonald to possibly contend with further back in the field. We've got the two Fair & Co cars running just inside the top 20. Further back, James Ellison in a new look for the 3 car this weekend. He runs just outside the top 20. We're going through the field here quickly, see where your favorite driver is running in the early stages here at Bristol. You see Stephen Hunter at the back of the field, that blue car. He had to change the engine after qualifying. That's why he had the start at the rear. That team has not had a good start to the weekend. They're hoping to try and bounce back today, but they're off to a difficult start so far.
Yeah, tough for Stephen Hunter for sure, but we got James Ellison so far leading the charge for that team mid-pack. But now we are a tenth of the way through this race already. It's about 5 or so minutes that we've been racing here. It's these guys run sub 15-second lap times, so if you're a fan of these stands, there really isn't a bad seat. Like, you can just see everybody all at the same time, which is great. You see the top 5, a big gap over 6th place, Henry Thomas.
Oh, we've got caution on the Speedway. It's our first of the day. And it's for Grigsby. He was running top 10 at the time. He pulled to a stop on the side of the track, and another difficult start to the race for Brian Grigsby after running so well. We saw this at Hillside last time out. He was running so commandingly good in that race. Had a mechanical failure that day, and now another such fate for him at Bristol. That 9 team has been unable to buy luck at this point.
That's very, very unfortunate for Brian Grigsby and that Fitzwater Racing team. Just that whole team hasn't had many things go their way this season, including Zachary Fitzwater in 59, but tough to see for Grigsby. I mean, more than once this season I can recall just that mechanical issues plaguing that 9 team.
Thankfully, this one doesn't seem to be as bad as the one at Hillside a couple weeks ago, so hopefully we'll be able to see the 9 back on track, but he has already lost a lap, and it's not easy to get those back unless you have a really fast car. But we'll take a look at what happened to him in a moment. We're waiting for the pace car to wave around all these cars because the leaders passed them under the yellow flag. These cars were on the lead lap at the time of the caution, so they're going to get their lap back here, right about here. And we will have a restart, hopefully in a couple laps, with Jeffrey Finguy as the race leader, as that's the rest of the lap traffic making their way around. And I think Grigsby is actually back on the track now, albeit now 2 laps down. So Brian Grigsby was running in 8th position, which is a very strong day for this team. We've seen him do this countless times. Oh, but he has a dramatic slowdown in turns 1 and 2. That's held up Patrick Smith, cost him about 5 spots on the racetrack, and you can see him just screeching to a halt on the back straightaway. He was right in the firing line. They had no choice but to throw the yellow for that one. It's because this 92 has been looking for his 20th career win in the Superstar Series. He's got a real good chance of it today, and no one in the history of one-up competition across any of its main divisions has ever gotten to 20 wins, and Finguy's in the catbird seat to make that happen today. But he's got a lot of competition behind him. With Grigsby lined up to the inside, the pace car's ready to pull off, and we're going to get this race restarted on lap 22.
The guy doing his best to get on the gas, clear the 9 of Grigsby. We are racing once again here in Bristol, Tennessee. Finn guy clear of Grigsby. Now Sanders has to do the same thing. Obviously, with the SSS officials, they allow the 9 car to restart up on the front row with the leaders and a chance to get his lap back, but that 9 car just doesn't have the strength that Finn guy Saitomi Motorsports car has. Now Miles Mashburn, he's allowed the top 2 to slip away right here, nearly get into the rear end of Grigsby, and she'll have to wait another time to get around that 9 car around this track.
Yeah, and it's not like Grigsby's a slow car by any means. He whatever issue they had with that car, they were able to fix completely. So he is back to full strength, albeit 2 laps down now. What I think Grigsby's trying to do, he's trying to get one of his laps back the hard way here, get around the leader so he'll only be 1 lap down, and then catch a caution since he's the only car a lap down right now. He'd be the free pass recipient, and he'd get both of his laps back in 1 move.
Definitely a good goal to shoot for right there, but yeah, that 9 just doing his best to just follow the inside where the 92 and the 87 are. We did go back a lap to the 58 of Ryan Reed, who had a good qualifying effort in 11th place. That's right about where he's running, and about 11th maybe up, but shout out to that 58 machine, just doing the best he can right here and trying to look for a top 10 position.
Especially after the hard hit he took at Hillside last time out. That was tough for Ryan Reed, especially considering he was running top 10 again at the time of that accident. So hopefully he's able to do something similar here at Bristol. He's currently running in 11th spot, right in between Christian Vargas, a 2-time champion, and Jake McMillan, the defending Daytona 500 champion. So no pressure on the rookie whatsoever, racing among these icons. But I think Vargas has bigger fish to fry. He's off after his 2 teammates, the Revolution trio, running 8th, 9th, and 10th.
There's Devin Fair trying to follow Ryan Caggiano on your screen. I also saw a couple of side-by-side cars going back there. It looks like Cale Tuscar Jr. and Zayden Davidson might be engaging in the battle for position. Lap 30 now. Still, Sanders has nothing for Finn guy, and I believe Tuscar had to back off and let the 4 of Davidson go by.
And that, of course, those are teammates all battling for that position. But don't look now. Brian Grigsby is starting to reel in the leaders a little bit. He was right in front of Mashburn a couple laps ago. He has gapped the 72 and is now putting some pressure on the 2 leaders. You see Sanders running a little bit of a higher line, trying to work some rubber into the upper groove. But I think he's going to have a bigger problem here because this 9 car has fresher tires on it. And tires don't mean too much here, but they're certainly enough of a factor for the 9 to be a little bit quicker, perhaps, in this point.
That's right. I don't recall anyone hitting pit road other than the 9 car, so perhaps Grigsby can use the new shoes that he has on that car to get around 1st and 2nd place. As we're going back through the leaderboard, we're in the 30s now. Just taking a look at the drivers back there. Nick Ortiz, Stephen Hunter, Daniel Bouchard, Duke Antsack, Aaron Hall, among others, and Logan Williams as well. But right now, we're just like the initial start of the race, the top 5-10 drivers just finding their pace and finding their place on the inside line of the track, which is the place to be right now.
And going back to the back half of the top 10 for a moment, we've got 4 Toyotas lined up, 7th through 10th at the moment. As we see Stephen Hunter just falling off the back of the field. That engine change must not have really paid off for that 31 car. He's still a little bit off the pace. But back to what I was saying about those Toyotas, Justin Henley in the Vice Valley 43 is actually the highest running Toyota in the race right now, which is a mega accomplishment considering he has 3 Revolution Racing Toyotas right behind him. That 43 team is punching way above their weight right now, and I, for one, am very happy to see that car running up at the front.
Of course, it's those feel-good stories of underfunded teams that don't really get a whole lot of recognition when they're running well, so that's great for Justin Henley in the 43 car to get that recognition. I recall Austin Liang in the 04 car, the normal driver for that. He finished podium in the Daytona 500, but that's Daytona where the draft and restrictor plates can be a factor. But here at Bristol, this is a pure grit-driven short track, and it's a whole lot more dependent on the driver's ability to get around the track. not you don't really rely on aerodynamics so much, but which is making this run by Henley even more impressive, as he's got the 3 Revolution Racing Toyotas all engaging in a battle for 8th place.
Yeah, Henley's doing a super job. I was going to mention Daytona and how this kind of run would be expected at a place like there, but here, not so much. This is a great job by Justin Henley. He might lose 7th in a moment here to Christian Vargas, but even if he doesn't, if he finishes top 15, top 20, that's still a really good day. Would still be the 43's best run of the season. But up at the front, the leaders have caught Stephen Hunter in the 31. He's the last car on the lead lap, and that's bad news for Brian Grigsby. He wants this 31 to stay ahead of the group he's racing with. So looking further back, I think we got one on pit road right now, and it's the 8 car, Logan Williams. He was running at the tail of the field anyway, but an issue on the 8 car is going to drop him multiple laps down.
A tough break for that 8 team, and of course, pitting under green at Bristol, you're guaranteed to lose 2 laps easy. So all Logan Williams has to do now is just hope this race does not go yellow and rely on the rest of these guys making a pit stop. But now you see the leaders stuck behind Stephen Hunter, trying to find a room inside, and you see Lane Sanders is stuck up on the outside. He's not where he wants to be, but Finguy looks like he may be in a clear path.
Yeah, he's gotten by Hunter now. Grigsby got underneath Sanders. That allows Miles Mashburn to take a look at the 87 for second spot. Now Stephen Hunter in the free pass position. Grigsby second in line because Logan Williams has dropped at least 2 laps down, if not 3. So, yeah, Logan Williams 3 laps down now as a result of that unscheduled pit stop. But it's a tough break for Logan Williams. He finally had a good day at Hillside last time out, and now things seem to be crashing back down for that 18. But up at the front, Finguy's starting to extend his lead because these guys are just struggling with the 31. Now Hunter, Sanders, and Caggiano were three wide for a moment. Looks like they've settled it out for now.
Man, you just got to feel for that 87 of Sanders falling down to, looks like, 4th place. Yeah.
It's unfortunate for Sanders. He was holding down a solid second, but it comes down to lap traffic and how quickly or otherwise you deal with it. Finguy was able to deal with it the best, and he is now in a position to start stretching his advantage out because he's got Grigsby behind him. Grigsby's not really going to challenge him, I don't think. So I think now is just a matter of pulling away, letting Mashburn and Fair fight amongst themselves. As you see, Vargas did get past Henley for the 7th position, still holding down 8th for the 43. But up at the front, Finguy's just got to extend his gap out as much as he can before he gets to more lap traffic, and the other leaders can charge him back down again.
And in that top 5, going back to Ryan Caggiano, about 1.5 seconds behind, but 6th place Henry Thomas, he's over 4 seconds behind. So that just tells you, how stellar these top 5 cars are running. And Henry Thomas, he'll want another caution to Brian Grigsby and Logan Williams' dismay to have another shot at them. Now Miles Mashburn just not really making an effort to charge up to the 92. He's kind of remaining stagnant in that battle. You got Devin Fair trying to pressure him along in that 21 car. The next lap car these leaders will approach would be, I believe, the 73 of Daniel Bouchard. So then that'll be the next obstacle that will face. But I'm sure it'll be a while before they get to that 73.
Yeah, and something to note as well about Devin Fair, this 21 car, it was a bit of an unknown how he would perform this season. He left Revolution Racing after so many years, went to JHM Racing, a team that wasn't doing that well in 2025, but he has brought this team to the promised land. Top 10s in every race so far this season, a solid 3rd here today. It's pretty clear, at least to me, that Devin Fair is picking up right where he left off with Revolution Racing at JHM Racing now. He's holding down 3rd place ahead of some really established teams, including all 3 of his former teammates.
Now we see Henry Thomas and Christian Vargas going by that ailing number 31 of Stephen Hunter. Just unfortunately that engine change that the Stormbreak team did prior to this race is not really helping out Hunter a whole lot. So that's another struggle that He'll be enduring. So now it's Justin Henley's turn to maybe get around him. And oh, good move by Cale Teskar Jr. going underneath Jake McMillan. And McMillan's going to use that high side off turn number 4 to get back by him just a little bit. But no, Teskar's not giving up on the inside.
Yeah, I think Teskar wants to get back into that top 10. He knows he's got a good car that can possibly challenge for about a top 10, maybe even a top 5 if the field gets bunched back up again. So he doesn't want to lose out to anybody, much less McMillan in the 42. But here's Henley stuck on that outside, and I worry this could be the start of a freight train going on. But starting with Zayden Davidson, Jake McMillan, and it could go as all the way, take this 43 car all the way back to about 17th place if he's not careful.
Right now, he's definitely in the unpreferred groove up on the outside. He's not really getting enough of a run to get up to the 31, but all these guys, if you think about it, they're all just getting slowed massively down by Stephen Hunter, not yielding to them. Now it's giving drivers like Jake McMillan, even Ryan Reed, who's been knocking on the door of the top 10. He goes underneath the 51 of Cale Teskar Jr., so that 58 also has a chance to run really well here today. And behind Ryan Reed, I see Patrick Smith. You also got the 66, Riley Hooper, on debut, going by the the 58 for 11th place. So, yeah, how about that? Blue and red 66 doing some good things.
He had a really good day yet last night in the Nitro National race. I'm not really surprised one bit considering how good that 66 has performed. That car has just been a surprise of the season for me. A welcome surprise, but a surprise nonetheless. Because look at this. We're about to go 3 wide with Hooper, Ryan Reed, and Patrick Smith. This is all for the 12th position on the racetrack. They're still 3 wide going through 3 and 4. This is a touchy business right here between these guys. Ben McDonald trying to stick his nose in there. Joshua Michaels waiting in the wings. But this is really risky business this early on. We're not even at halfway yet.
Ben McDonald, Joshua Michaels also looking to attack. I see Emma Kruger and Ryan Griffin also behind this bunch. And there's that Skittles machine of Riley Hooper, just at least keeping it green through the first half of this race here at Bristol, which is not an easy task, and especially keeping up the top 15 pace. So we'll see how that 66 is going to do in the second half. But now Zayden Davidson and all these guys are finally starting to get past that 31 of Hunter. But now the 92 of Finn guy, he's caught up to Daniel Bouchard. He's between a rock and a hard place. He has to get by to 73, but Brian Grigsby, he's got a chance now to get one of his laps back, so this will be tough for him.
And getting one of those laps back is critical for this 9 cars race at this point. But he's got to be careful because look who's right behind him. Mashburn, Fair, Sanders, Caggiano, they're all ranging up behind him. They've caught the 92 who had extended his lead out to a pretty substantial margin. Now it's come down quite a bit because this 73 will not get out of his way. Bouchard's not really doing anything wrong. He's trying to stay on the lead lap, which is very important for his race. But this 92 starting to get a little bit impatient with Bouchard here.
Oh, and now Grigsby, he's been pushed up by Mashburn. He's on the outside. He's able to get the run off turn 4 that time. But he just can't get away from that Zaxby's ride of Mashburn. Oh, it looks like he had to get out of the gas right there. Mashburn did. That's going to kill his run down the back straightaway. And Devin Fair and Lane Sanders are looking right there.
But look at this. Brian Grigsby's now gotten underneath Finn Guy to try and get his lap back. That's bad news for the 92, who's now stuck on the outside. That's opened the door for Mashburn. We got trouble. We got trouble in turn 3. Jeff Bolton, Logan Williams go around in the corner. That is going to put us under our second caution of the day. Oh, that saved Jeffrey Finn Guy right there because he was about to lose the lead at the rate those guys were going.
Oh, man, and Bolton and Williams, they went around right in front of these guys, and oh, look out, guys, slow down, give each other room.
Yeah, we see this often.
Yeah, it could have been a whole lot worse, though, for those leaders had they not piled into that 38 and the 8 machine. So I'll have to take a look at how they got sideways, but we are halfway through, and Finn Guy somehow is able to keep the lead after.
Ooh, and we've got trouble. We got big trouble on the front straightaway as the lap cars try and get back past. 2 of them have slammed into Finn Guy and Mashburn, running 1-2. Devastating, potentially, for their races. Everybody's coming to pit road here. This will get them to the end of the race. But will the 92 team have to spend some extra time repairing their car because that was a big shunt to the rear end?
Oh, man, if that is the case, that is a gift to Devin Fair, Lane Sanders, Ryan Caggiano, who were running behind Finn Guy and Mashburn. But that is so crazy how they nearly went from being involved in an accident with Williams and Bolton to getting hit by cars trying to take the waiver out at the start-finish line. That's terrible.
Well, the good news for them is Finn Guy's not going to spend time repairing the car. They think it's fine enough for him to keep going without it. So he's likely going to come out still the leader of the race. But the question becomes, will he sacrifice any pace in that car as a result?
That's definitely the risk. And the 72 of Mashburn also is carrying that same risk. But thankfully for Fair, Sanders, Caggiano, Henry Thomas, I do not believe they were able to sustain any damage, so they may carry better pace compared to Finn Guy and Mashburn, but yeah, we'll have to see how they do in their wounded state.
Meanwhile, several drivers trapped a lap down as a result of this caution that all started with Logan Williams. We'll get you a look at it here. Here we go with Bolton and Williams, I think. Oh yeah, Bolton got loose out of 2, came down, the 8 was already there. Good thing Austin Liang was a little bit up the track, or else he would have gotten caught in this as well. Look at all the leaders streaming past. They, like you said, very fortunate they didn't get caught up in that accident. But we're going to keep our eyes on this 92 to see what in the world unfolded to give him that kind of damage to the rear end of his Mustang. Because he's trying to pick up the pace car. The problem is the pace car is all the way ahead of these lap cars. So Finn Guy's got to weave his way through, and I think that's going to cost him here in a minute.
Guy's doing what he has to, just slow down, take the caution flag behind the pace car. We'll have to see who it is that ends up hitting it.
It's Stephen Gale in the 52. Finn Guy tried to come up behind the pace car in the 50. He must not have seen the 52 trying to get his lap back. That's tough because there's so close quarters here at Bristol that anything like that can be costly. But we're coming to the restart right here. The Fair & cars of Goforth and Dolello, they're on the tail end of the lead lap. Finn Guy's the leader, Mashburn second. We're getting ready to restart this thing on lap 80.
Away they go again. Goforth and Dolello trying to, run out of here as quick as they can. And now Finn Guy and Mashburn, who did sustain damage under yellow. So far they're not doing
I see 3 wide back there. This could be touchy. Davidson into Thomas, into Liang, into the wall. Turn 1. Liang and Thomas with heavy contact. Oh, Ryan Reed piles in. Stephen Hunter piles in. Aaron Hall, nowhere to go. A big crash in turns 1 and 2, right on the restart, and that is our 3rd caution of the day.
Oh, once again, paying for that 58 car of Ryan Reed after his crash at Hillside. He endures a 2nd straight week with an accident, and how terrible that was. That accident fell right into his lap.
And it feels like the 58 car's luck from 2025 is carrying over to 2026 as well. Devastating for Ryan Reed. His race is over. Henry Thomas, his race looks to be over. Oh my goodness. Difficult. And Stephen Hunter as well. He's on pit road with damage repair going on. But this is a big break for Goforth and Dolello. They get back on the lead lap, as will Francois Chastain, who gets the free pass. But look at this, Mashburn's coming back down pit road. Something else I missed with the 72, perhaps.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe his team is just bringing him back down, as a precaution, just to make sure that car is tuned up good enough to keep on going this race.
It was a 3-wide situation, the field stacking up behind lap traffic, and they just pinched Davidson in the middle. Liang and Thomas did, and as they slide down the track, Ryan Reed nowhere to go, and he piles into Hunter, Aaron Hall, Nick Ortiz gets a piece of it, as does Stephen Gale. Tough break, especially for Ryan Reed. He was having a really strong day in the top 15. It's all over now for the 58. Looking at this now from Henry Thomas, you can see him on the top. He really didn't have anywhere to go. There was a wall next to him on one side, Zayden Davidson on the other. But, yeah, and then these guys just all piling in at the last minute. That is not ideal for any of them. Aaron Hall especially was having a decent season up to this point. Jensen Nomina also got into it a tiny bit. But looks as though for the likes of Ryan Reed, Dolello actually got a piece of that too a little earlier on in there. But for the likes of Ryan Reed and Henry Thomas, their days are over, and as is the case for Austin Liang in the 04. But we're under caution here on lap 85. Hopefully we can get some green running here because we had some good racing up until this rash of yellow flags. But Mashburn is back on the track, and he is still on the lead lap. Unfortunately for him, he is all the way down in 19th position as we got a smoker on pit road, and it's Ryan Griffin. He was on the lead lap too. He was running 14th, but his day looks to be over with the engine letting go on that Fingai Saitomi machine.
Oh no, the Las Vegas winner encountering engine troubles here at Bristol. That's a painful way for his race to end, and there he disappears. He's going to go to the garage area.
Well, we're going to get a restart here on lap 87, and Jeffrey Fingai still with that damage on the rear end of his car. He is going to be your leader. He's led every lap so far, with Devin Fair in second position, Lane Sanders third, Christian Vargas now all the way up into fourth, with Ryan Caggiano rounding out the top 5. Tescar, Davidson, McMillan, Patrick Smith, Ben McDonald, the top 10. The green flag is back out in the air. We are underway once again.
And pay attention to these lap cars underneath Fingai and the rest of these leaders. You got William Brock, Julio Caesar, Jensen Millman, and Duke Ansack. We'll have to see how courteous they can be while also racing for their own positions in the meantime. And now that 92, right now he's proving that you don't really need a smooth back bumper to lead the pack here at Bristol Motor Speedway.
Oh, and Mashburn back on pit road again.
Oh, wow, that is so strange for the 72 team. Wonder what this could be.
Either they didn't complete what they were trying to do under yellow, or maybe they got penalized on the restart. Either way, the 72 is going to fall well off the lead lap, and his hopes for a win today are certainly over. After such a good showing in the truck race on Friday night, that'll drop kick Mashburn at least 2 laps down. But the front, it continues to be Fingai, Fair, Sanders, 1, 2, 3, and you're going to have to go a little ways back to find the rest of the field.
Yep, and there goes the 72 Mashburn off the pit lane. Now he's able to rejoin the race, but he's going to join the likes of possibly Logan Williams in the 2 or 3 laps down category. So very unfortunate break for Mashburn.
It's tough for sure, but Mashburn has had a strong car all season long. I expect him to be able to bounce back at Texas next week for sure. But for now, he's just going to have to log laps, try and salvage as much information as he can for the next short track race in the season, which should be at North Wilkesboro in the fall. But we're checking to see if Mashburn has to come back again for any further work. It doesn't look like he has to, so we're going to keep rolling. We're closing in on 50 laps to go, and Jeffrey Fingai's under fire from the 21 and the 87.
Devin Fair and Lane Sanders, they've had top 5 pace all day long, and following that 92, and there's Christian Vargas trying to get around William Brock. Julio Caesar, he is also one of the lap down cars. And then you also got Ryan Caggiano up the top 5. Excellent surge by Christian Vargas. Trying to figure out where he started, 16th. So real good charge by that 54 team. All 3 of the Revolution Racing Toyota through 7. So they're doing a whale of a job.
Indeed they are, and we're looking a little further back now, trying to figure out the running order, because we've got a lot of lap cars now mixed in with the rest of the leaders. Justin Henley now has fallen down to about 13th. Still a decent day for the 43, all things considered. He stayed out of trouble all day, that is for sure. Cody Goforth, after just getting back on the lead lap earlier, he's up to 14th now, which is a very strong effort from the 64 team. But up at the front of the field, Fingai's starting to put a gap between himself and Fair and Sanders, and they're all putting a big gap on Vargas for 4th.
Mashburn just trying his best to just charge up and salvage whatever points and positions he can. He's right there with Brian Grigsby, 2 laps down. In the meantime, though, Fingai with his wounded rear bumper and all, lap 100 now at a 150, 2/3 of the way here in Bristol, Tennessee. And these fans, they definitely have been entertained throughout the whole way. They got to see a couple incidents, and so far a real tight battle here for the lead position. But I think the 92 is starting to gap Fair and Sanders.
Yeah, Finguy's led all but one lap of this race so far, which I believe went to Devon Fair on that cycle of yellow flag pit stops because Finguy's pitted on the backstretch here at Bristol. One thing to note about that for Devon Fair, that's actually his first lap led of the entire 2026 season up to this point. So kudos to the 21 for finally getting a bonus point under his belt for that.
And now these guys are almost 3 seconds ahead of that 54 of Vargas. I think it will be over 3 this time. And yes, it is a 3-second gap between Finguy and Christian Vargas. 3.5 seconds back to Ryan Caggiano. Jeff Suskard Jr., 3.6 back. And then Zayden Davidson, he's over 4 seconds back. So even with Stephen Gale colliding with that 92 machine under the caution flag, fortunately for Finguy, he's got a rear bumper made of, invincible steel, and right now he's still showing the way. He doesn't appear to be slowing down.
And meanwhile, looking towards the back end of the field, you saw Francois Chastain in the 25. He actually got the free pass under that last caution, so he's running in the top 20. He is, I believe, the second to last car on the lead lap in 18th place. Zachary DeLello behind him in 19th. So we got 19 cars on the lead lap. Jeffrey Finguy's led all but one lap of this race so far, although Fair and Sanders are starting to close in on him a little bit, and once they catch the back of the field once again, I expect that to really pick up.
Perhaps it will, and it'll be just a matter of short time before Finguy does that. But I see the rest of the top 10, they've basically stabilized. 7 seconds back is the number 12 of Ben McDonald. But yeah, you see just the top 3 just cruising away from them. And ironically enough, it's going to be the 52 of Stephen Gale. Looks like he will be the first projected car that Finguy will approach, followed by Logan Williams. It's going to be a little bit, though, before they arrive unless a caution comes out.
Yeah, and I hope we don't get one because this is shaping up to be a really good battle for the victory between the Ford of Finguy, the Honda of Fair, and the Dodge of Lane Sanders. First Chevrolet in the race is Ben McDonald in 10th. So this is going to be a good battle if they get to this lap traffic. I'm predicting that right off the rip because these lap cars are going to be a little bit slower than Jeffrey Finguy would like, and he's going to be held up by them whether he wants to or whether he likes it or not, and that is going to draw these two right to his tailgate once again.
And Christian Vargas, he's been struggling to get around lap traffic along with Caggiano, and that might mostly explain the 4+ second gap that these top 3 have over Vargas.
Yeah, I think Vargas just cleared William Brock, so he's finally clear, but he's 4.5 seconds back now.
Now we got Finguy catching up to the 52, and unless he get around him quickly, this may spell bad news for the 92, but thankfully the 52 isn't going to give him a little courtesy. He'll give him the inside and let him go by.
I don't think he wants to incur the 92's wrath any more than he already has today, but he now gets out of the way for Devon Fair, who's closing in at a rapid rate. Let's see if he does the same for Lane Sanders as well. I expect he will. Yes, he goes high, lets the leaders through. Logan Williams, he's next up the road. This will be, I believe, his 4th lap down that he will be going, so not the day that Logan Williams was hoping for after a top 5 finish at Hillside, but hopefully Texas fares him better than Bristol has, because this has just not been a good season for that 8 car by any stretch.
And wow, check out how fast the 21 and the 87 are catching Finguy. Devon Fair thought he had the chance right there. Still not able to poke his nose underneath Finguy.
Oh, here comes Sanders under Fair. Sanders did not want to waste time, and he is now getting underneath the 21, trying to make a move for 2nd spot. We've seen this all day from the 87. He is the most aggressive of these 3 when it comes to dealing with traffic, and this 87 is wasting no opportunities given to him.
He's going to have the inside underneath Devon Fair. Is he going to clear him, though? If he can just clear that 21, he should be on good pace to maybe seizing that 92 up as he continues to be held up by Logan Williams. But now Sanders, we should be able to get by him. No, Fair not giving up on that outside. And this is just a game of cat and mouse that we're seeing. You got Finguy wanting to get by the 8, but the 87 wanting to get by the 21, which he finally does.
Yeah, Devon needed to hang that out as long as he could because we only have 30 laps to go. There's not a lot of time left in this thing. to make moves happen. Next up the road is Zachary DeLello. He's the last car on the lead lap, and he is going to fight tooth and nail to defend his position and keep on the lead lap in case we get another caution flag. But now, Finguy's got a new challenger in his rearview mirror, and it's the outside pole sitter, Lane Sanders, who's fought and clawed his way back up to the second position. Remember, he got caught out by lap traffic earlier today, and he's now in a prime position here to make something of this race.
Again, the 28 laps, it can fly by Bristol at a pretty quick pace. So Sanders, even though the number of laps is pretty big, the time it takes to get around it is far quick. So he'll have to figure out something, as Vargas has now approached the 52 as well as the 8. So if it wasn't enough of a struggle for him to hang with the top 3, this will be a new challenge for Vargas now.
But to his credit, he did claw back half of that deficit he had to the 3 leaders, Finguy, Sanders, and Fair. He was 4 seconds, now it's down to 2, so that's a nice run from Vargas to get as close as he has, but I think this is going to be between these 3 for the race victory. We're coming up on 25 laps to go. Here comes Bolton and DeLello. They're the next 2 up to be lapped by Finguy, but Lane Sanders, we've seen it before in this race. He will not waste an opportunity to lunge on whoever's in front of him, and in this case, it's his old foe, Jeffrey Finguy, for the lead of this race.
Finguy out of Michigan, Sanders out of Alabama. Here comes the pass attempt. In turn number 3, the 87 going down underneath Finguy. 25 laps to go, make it 24, and he's going to go by the 08 as well. How about this?
I said it, didn't I? Lane Sanders does not waste a chance to get by an opponent, and he has lunged his way past Jeffrey Finguy, who had dominated the race up to this point. Now Devin Fair's underneath the 92. This 08 is proving to be a huge detriment to Jeffrey Finguy's race. He's going to fall from the lead all the way back to 3rd, it looks like. And while that's happening, Lane Sanders starting to pull a gap out in front of him.
And now Devin Fair, again, his streak of top 10 finishes to start the season looks like that's going to be intact. He's now going to get by DeLello. Finguy's still going to be on the struggle bus trying to get by that 08 car. Now Sanders looks like he's got the 38 of Bolton, who was damaged in a wreck. We'll have to see how quickly he can get by him and how fast the 21 will catch him. Can he do it?
And there's Sanders getting underneath Bolton. He doesn't miss a trick, this 87 car. But you got to feel for Jeffrey Finguy. He led 124 laps of this race. It just goes to show you the race can change in a matter of seconds. We saw it at Hillside last time out. We're seeing it again here at Bristol. Lane Sanders now in command of this race with under 20 to go.
Devin Fair still not by Jeff Bolton. Now I believe out of turn 2 he is going to be able to get by him. Now Finguy is going to have that same struggle. And check out that 54 Toyota in the background. He's dwindled it down to just a 1.5-second gap behind the leaders. So I don't know if things continue to go smoothly. Maybe the 54 may still have a chance to steal another position. I don't know if he'll have enough time to get up to Sanders for the win, but he could reel down Finguy and make him lose the 3rd spot.
And wouldn't that be a kick in the teeth for Jeffrey Finguy, from leading 124 laps of this race to falling off the podium altogether. We'll see if he's able to hold on to that spot, though. We're closing in on 15 to go, and Lane Sanders, if he gets to this huge pack of lap traffic ahead of him, that could open the gates wide open for Devin Fair and even Finguy to claw his way back in.
You can just hear that Jaws theme starting to play for that 87. 15 laps to go now. I mean, he's so close to the finish, but he's still so far away. And Stephen Hunter and guys like that up there, he's drawing even closer to them ever so slowly, but surely. So there is still hope for that 21 affair to do something.
But he's got to make it happen quick, because this 87 is pulling away from him. We'll see what the gap is at the line this time. But we're rapidly approaching 10 laps to go. The gap's already 2/3 of a second. We'll see what it is at the line this time. Now 3/4 of a second between Sanders and Fair. So the 21's only hope here is that this 87 car catches the back of the field quickly so so that Fair has enough laps to try and track down Lane Sanders and try and steal the win away. We notice that driver is capable of taking wins at the last minute. He did it to Miles Mashburn at Hillside last year. As it looks as though, I think we've got one on pit road again, and it's Julio Cesar. His race is over with a tire failure late in the goings here, and that is got to be setting off all kinds of alarm bells for his teammate out in the lead, Lane Sanders.
That is no bueno for Julio Cesar. Just falling out of this race in the dying laps. He'll finish P38, it appears. And now it is 10 laps to go, lap 141. And there's that 31 of Hunter, the 25 of Chastain. And, of course, Sanders can't slow down. His team's still telling him, go, go, go. Build that gap over that 21 car, which is his job to do. But that's the risk, though. If he catches the 31, is he going to get by him fast enough?
And he's got to be wary of what happened to the 00. Could the same fate fall on his shoulders? Those cars are come from the same shop. They are fielded under the same banner. That's got to be a nervous moment for Lane Sanders as we're approaching 5 laps to go. Devin Fair now a second behind. We'll see how quickly he can close in now that Sanders has caught the back of the pack.
That number on that leaderboard should start to dwindle down once Sanders does approach that 31 of Hunter. You also see the 91 of Nick Ortiz and Miles Mashburn. They're also in the picture frame right here.
Francois Chastain's there. Yeah, Sanders is there, but he's still gaining time. We got 5.5 laps to go, but one thing Sanders really can't do is leave that bottom lane. He needs to stick there no matter how hard it is to pass these guys, because he knows that outside line will be a death sentence in this point of the race. He gets underneath Hunter, he dispatches the 31, now he's got to set after the 2 New England Cruisers teammates who battle side by side ahead of him.
Chastain and Ortiz right now side by side. They are battling for position, so they can't just lay over.
Well, Ortiz is 2 laps down, or Chastain's on the lead lap. It's not for position, but Chastain's fighting hard to just stay on the lead lap in the dying stages of this race. But Sanders approaching 3 laps to go now, and the good news for him is he's got that 31 acting as a rear gunner, even if the 31 doesn't want to, just to hold off that 21 for this race win. We're approaching the end here.
That 21 of Fair trying to work down that margin. I believe he's going to work it down to just half a second at the line. And now Sanders gets to the inside of the 25 of Chastain. Time is evaporating quickly here in the Last Great Coliseum. He's underneath the 25, and that is good news. He'll have 2 lap cars as a cushion as he heads towards the white flag.
1 lap to go from Bristol. Lane Sanders has been the ultimate offensive man in this race so far. He's made lunges that others wouldn't have even dreamed of making, and he usurps Jeffrey Finguy. That 20th win for the 92 will have to wait another week because Lane Sanders wins it at Bristol with a commanding late race pass on the 92 to secure this victory. And boy, is this one he is going to remember for a while, because he had to earn this one after the adversity he faced earlier on, his 8th career win in the series.
Boy, I tell you folks, these fans here, they were going to be in for a fun one today.
Ooh, we've got some carnage.
Oh.
We've got some carnage coming out of turn 2 on the cooldown lap. That's Cameron Brennan, Daniel Bouchard up on their lids. I'm wondering what happened here to trigger that, but the good news is everybody crossed the line under their own power, and their finishing positions are thus locked in regardless of what happens after the flag. But for Lane Sanders, he is now tied with 3 of 1UP's greatest: Stephen Hunter, Ben McDonald, Jake McMillan, all with 8 career wins, 6th on the all-time list. And he's going to carry a lot of momentum heading to Texas Motor Speedway next week. This is a great one, though, to watch.
It totally was, and the fans even get a double flip at the end with the 90 and the 73. But yeah, this is Bristol, baby, and Lane Sanders knows it. He knows how cool of a place this is, and if you get a checkered flag here, it just means so much. He'll get to drive that number 87 Ford up onto the victory lane, building in the infield, and his team are going to be in for a great celebration.
Well said indeed. Although he does have 2 cars to now repair, the 00 and the 90, I think he can use those winnings he got from this race to help him in that regard. But with that being said, from Jesse Turner and from myself as well, thanks for joining us for an epic day of racing at Bristol Motor Speedway. We'll see you again next week at Texas Motor Speedway for race number 7 of the season. A lot higher speeds out there than we saw here today. Will that translate to some great racing? We hope you'll join us to find out. But until we see you then, congratulations to Lane Sanders, who took his 87 Dodge to victory lane, his first of the season, and the 8th of his Superstar Series career.